Dino, don't even start.
Long.
Don't start that.
It's been so long.
Don't start that because you know it hurts.
It don't hurt.
It does hurt.
No, it don't.
Simba's having allergies again. Don't.
See? It don't hurt.
Did you shoot my dog?
I shot myself.
Oh.
I shoot your dog too.
Stop.
Ain't nothing but a little water.
Stop.
A bullet, a scream, a plan that seemed perfect. July 4th, fireworks light up the Texas sky, celebrating Independence Day. Among thousands of couples holding hands under the dazzling lights, there was one pair no one suspected, one where only one of them would ever be the same again. She thought she had found true love. He had it all: the looks, the charm, the magnetic presence that drew thousands of admirers on social media. But behind the camera, behind the smiles on TikTok, hid a monster. As the night deepened, inside a dark SUV, their final argument erupted. One shot, one bullet tore through the head of a young woman, a woman adored by hundreds of thousands. Her twisted, narcissistic boyfriend believed he had erased her forever. He was confident that the story had ended, his crime buried with her. But he made a fatal mistake. She was still alive. And in his arrogance, the man who thought he had committed the perfect crime made one slip-up, revealing details that only the killer would know. When the mask of a psychopath falls, what do we see? Don't look away, because what you're about to hear will forever change the way you see love, manipulation, and the darkness that lurks within seemingly perfect relationships. Welcome to Echoes of Crime, where we uncover real-life true crime stories and the chilling truths hidden beneath the surface. Like and support the channel to help us bring more stories to light. Zara Hashemi, 28 years old. A familiar name among the younger generation on TikTok. With hot over 200,000 followers, millions of views, and videos bursting with positive energy, she was adored by all. On screen, she was the one who made people laugh. Zara stood out with her natural charisma, humor, and fearless openness in sharing everyday moments. She had a way of drawing people in, turning ordinary things into something charming and unforgettable. But behind the camera, Zara was someone entirely different. She wasn't just a TikToker. She was a devoted older sister, a responsible daughter. Born into an Iranian-American family in Texas, she always put her family first. How did her friends describe her? Always there to help, always the one to bring joy to any room. But there was something no one ever knew. Beneath her strong, radiant exterior, Zara was battling emotional storms. In a relationship filled with control and manipulation. What people saw on TikTok was only a fraction of her life. The other part, the part Zara never dared to speak about, remained hidden in silence. Larius Brownley, also known by his online alias, Dino Honon, was a TikToker with over 28,000 followers. He had a certain appeal, the kind of man who exuded confidence, spoke his mind, and sometimes came off as blunt, even rude, yet undeniably captivating. But don't let appearances fool you. Larius wasn't just any boyfriend. He suffered from bipolar disorder, combined with narcissistic personality disorder, a dangerously volatile mix. What does that mean? When he was in a good mood, he was charismatic, passionate, and magnetic. Someone who could make you feel like you were the most special person in the world. But when anger took over, he became controlling, manipulative, and terrifying in ways most wouldn't see coming. Everything had to be on his terms. When Zara laughed on camera, and he laughed along. But the moment the camera turned off, everything changed. They're hot for an adorable couple videos. Always racked up thousands of likes. But take a closer look. The way he spoke to Zara, those seemingly harmless jokes, always carried an undercurrent of control. The moments where Zara would force a smile, but her eyes told a different story. Their hugs that were just a little too tight, their most sarcastic remarks, the rudeness disguised as playful teasing. If you followed them for a while, you might have seen these subtle red flags. But no one ever imagined that these warning signs would lead to a nightmare beyond comprehension. Larius always needed control. If he couldn't have Zara, he would rather destroy her. This isn't just the story of a famous couple. This is a wake-up call, a reminder of how toxic relationships can warp love into control, how small warning signs can be the prelude to an irreversible tragedy. He thought Zara was dead, but he was wrong. And in his overconfidence, he revealed him a secret only the real killer could know. What really happened on the night of July 4th? And how did Zara survive? Don't take your eyes off the screen, because the truth will send chills down your spine. Imagine a picture-perfect love story. A young, fun-loving couple, full of energy. They share their sweetest moments on TikTok. Cute challenges, playful teasing, and inside jokes. Hundreds of thousands follow them, admire their relationship, and dream of having a love like theirs. But what happens when it's all just a facade? Zara Hashemi and Larius Brownley were once a beloved social media couple, but behind the dazzling glow of their viral videos was a much darker reality, one filled with red flags of manipulation and control.
So you look like that.
Yes. Stop.
So arguments make you look like that.
Yes.
Yeah, it look like a genome.
What the hell is that?
It look like a gnome. Them little things they use to scare the.
Like Romeo and Romeo and Juliet?
Nah, you look like a troll actually. You know them little troll things with the hair?
Get my phone back.
That's what you look like.
No, that's
Yeah,
what you look like.
It look like my precious. Man, it look like a Lord of the Rings character.
Give me my phone back.
Look at you. Hey, you used to be in Hobbit, huh? Ain't you that girl from Hobbit? Man, I could have sworn it. Hold on, move your hand real quick. I could have sworn it was you.
I do not like you. I do not like you.
My precious.
Get out my face.
You know who you look like? You look like the girl off Scary Movie.
There's a saying, watch how a man talks to his girlfriend, and you'll know exactly who he is. And with Larius, the warning signs had been there. All along. At first glance, their videos seemed harmless, just light-hearted fun. But if you look closer, something was off. Larius would constantly interrupt Zara when she was talking. He often mocked her looks, the way she spoke, only to laugh it off as a joke. Subtle yet controlling gestures, grabbing her arm when she tried to move away, pulling her back when she stepped too far. Some fans started to notice. Zara doesn't look happy in this video. Is it just me, or does he treat her a little weird? I have a bad feeling about this relationship. But those comments were drowned out by thousands of others cheering for the perfect couple. No one truly spoke up. No one thought something terrible was happening behind the scenes. And that's the real problem. Zara was still smiling. Victims of psychological manipulation don't cry in front of the camera. They smile, they laugh, they pretend where nothing is wrong, because even they don't realize they're trapped.
See, this one I'm not doing this shit no more.
I don't care. Don't do it no more.
And why you always gotta take up the whole camera? Like, don't nobody even be wanting to see you.
Don't nobody want to see you.
Like,
Nobody want to see you. That's not what I do.
like, goddamn, don't nobody like you do this shit over that way. Nobody care about your little dude.
I be looking good. What are you talking about?
Man. Fuck.
Yeah.
Larius didn't control Zara in ways that were easy to see. He didn't scream in her face. He didn't slap her on camera. But he controlled her by making her feel small, unworthy, and completely dependent on him. He constantly belittled her. Phrases like, "You're so dumb. Who could ever love you? You're only famous because of me," became part of her everyday life. He now didn't let her have space. If Zara spent time with friends without him, she'd get flooded with guilt-tripping texts. If she didn't reply immediately, he'd make her feel like she was the problem. He made her believe she couldn't leave. "Who else would put up with you? Without me, where do you think you'd even go?" At first, Zara pushed back. She laughed it off, brushed it aside, but over time, she started more to believe him. Her friends noticed the change. Zara used to be the life of the party. The first to show up, full of energy, always the one making everyone laugh. But then, she started missing hangouts. And when she did show up, she wasn't the same. There was something different in her eyes. A flicker of hesitation, of worry. When someone asked if she was okay, she'd smile softly and say, "I've just been busy, that's all." But she wasn't busy, she was being controlled. Zara stayed in the relationship, not because she didn't know it was toxic, but because she believed she could change him. But how can you change someone who doesn't want to change? Outsiders often ask, why didn't she just leave? Why didn't she report him? Why did she let herself get trapped in that relationship? But it's not that simple. When you love someone, you don't just love who they are today. You love the memories, the good moments you once shared. You remember the first time he made you feel special, the first time he made you laugh, the promises of a better future. And when things start falling apart, you tell yourself, he's just going through a rough time. Manipulation makes victims believe it's their fault. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe he's right. Maybe I'm not good enough. He loves me. He just loses control sometimes. Zara didn't leave because she believed love could change him. But what was the reality? Things never got better. The control got stronger. The manipulation cut deeper. And Zara's smile, it started fading away. Are we Independence Day, April 7th, 2024? Fireworks lit up the Texas sky, reflecting in the eyes of thousands gathered at the Flower Mound Festival. The air buzzed with excitement, music playing, children laughing, couples holding each other close as they soaked in the magic of the night. In the middle of the crowd, Zara Hashemi and Larius Brownley stood together. To outsiders, they looked like the perfect couple, enjoying a beautiful night. But if you look closely, something was off. Zara wasn't laughing like she used to. Her eyes, once full of life, now seemed empty when they met Larius. He, on the other hand, carried himself like always, loud, overconfident. But his hand? His grip on her wrist tightened every time she tried to step away. And then the argument began. "Larius, please, don't do this here. It's a festival." Zara's voice was calm, careful. "Don't do what? You think I'm the problem here? Who were you just flirting with?" His voice grew sharper. "Larius, stop. I just want to enjoy tonight, okay?" She lowered her voice, her eyes scanning the crowd. People were starting to notice. "Stop? You're telling me what to do now?" The tension between them grew heavy. A few friends noticed twice the shift, heard Larius' voice, getting louder, angrier. But they looked away. They thought, it's just another couple's argument. But for Zara, this wasn't the first time. She had tried to leave before. She had tried to escape him. And every time, he pulled her back. And tonight, she knew. Something was wrong. She pulled her hand away. His grip tightened. "Larius, let me go." Her voice was firmer now, her eyes flashing with anger. "You think you can just walk away from me?" His smirk was cold. She tried to step away. But Larius wouldn't let her. Their friends saw it. They heard it. But no one stepped in. Zara didn't scream. She didn't beg. She didn't cry for help. She was used to enduring it. But what she didn't know was that tonight would be the night that changed everything. 12:50 a.m., the moment that changed everything. After leaving the festival, the black Chevrolet Blazer sped down the highway, slicing through the quiet night of Flower Mound, Texas. Zara sat in the passenger seat, her fingers clutching her purse, her eyes staring blankly out the window. She knew she had to leave him. But how? Larius gripped the steering wheel tightly, his breathing heavy. His rage was simmering beneath the surface, silent but palpable. She thinks she can leave me? The thought burned through his mind. Suddenly, he jerked the car to the side of the road. Get out! His voice was cold, emotionless. What? Zara turned to look at him. A real fear creeping into her chest. I said, get out! He growled, his eyes dark, his lips curling into a cruel smile. Zara shook her head, her hands fumbling for the door handle. She had to run. But he was faster. He lunged for the Hatan Glock, stashed in the driver's side door. A single bullet tore through the night. A gunshot rang out. The road fell into the absolute silence. Zara slumped forward in the passenger seat, blood spreading across the black leather. The bullet had pierced her forehead, just above her right eye. No more arguments, no more words. Only Zara's shallow, struggling breaths. And the shock on Larius's face. He clenched the gun, his hands trembling. For a moment, even he couldn't believe what he had just done. But then, Hina scoffed. It's done. He thought it was over. He thought she was dead. He thought he had erased her forever. But if he wanted to kill her, why did he call the police? Maybe he wanted to play the victim. Maybe he thought he could control the situation, just like he always did. 911, what's your emergency? I shot her. His voice was cold, emotionless, not a hint of panic. Who's been shot? What's your location? My girlfriend. She's bleeding. I'm on Flower Mound Road. A few seconds of unmarked silence on the line. Is the victim still breathing? Number. She's dead. He said it with certainty. He believed it was over, but he didn't know that Zara was still alive. Her heart was still beating. Her breath was still there. And this story was only just beginning. The police had seen cases like this before. Killers always think they're smarter than the law. But what Larius Brownley didn't expect was that he was walking straight into a trap of his own making. The moment he was arrested, Larius was eerily calm. He wasn't afraid. He wasn't remorseful. Instead, he was confident, too confident, as if he truly believed he could control everything. But the police had a plan. They decided to keep one crucial detail a secret. Zara was still alive. Why? Because they knew that criminals always expose themselves. If Larius believed Zara was dead, he would let his guard down and start revealing details. Only the killer would know. He would expose his true thoughts, his true attitude, and his fatal mistakes. And just as expected, Larius started talking. Too much. He thought he had won. He thought he was in control of the narrative. Inside the police station, sitting in the interrogation room, he kept repeating his version of the story. He tried to sound devastated, but not a single tear fell from his eyes. I didn't mean to. I don't know what happened. She lunged at me and I accidentally pulled the trigger. It all happened so fast. I just remember when I shot, she fell immediately. But there was one big problem. The police never told him where Zara was shot. So how did he know when she was shot in the head? How did he know she collapsed instantly? The detectives remained silent, letting him keep talking, letting him bury himself in his own lies. After an hours of interrogation, the police decided to deliver their final blow. They walked into the room, locked eyes with him, and dropped the one sentence he never saw coming. "She's alive." No one can ever truly prepare for a moment like this, and Larius Brownley definitely wasn't ready. His eyes widened. His breathing quickened. His hands clenched the sides of his chair. He tried to regain his composure, but the panic was already written all over his face. What? He stammered. "Zara, she's alive." The detectives watched him closely, waiting. And in that split second, they saw something they had been waiting for all night. Fear. For the first time, Larius wasn't the arrogant, overconfident man who thought he could control everything. Now, he was just a desperate man who knew he was caught. He realized his mistake. He had talked too much. He had revealed too many details. And now the police had everything they needed to charge him. He knew that if Zara woke up, every single one of his lies would be exposed. He scrambled to change his story, but it was too late. The evidence was there. His indirect confessions were already recorded. The detective leaned in, staring him down, and said coldly, "Now you're going to pay for what you did." And for the first time that night, Larius Brownley understood that he had lost. After everything that has happened, only one thing remains: justice. Larius Brownley was arrested right at the scene, moments after pulling the trigger, but this was just the beginning of a long legal battle. A battle that wouldn't just determine his fate, but serve as a voice for all victims of relationship violence. What charges does he face? At first, Larius was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, a first-degree felony under Texas law. This charge carries a sentence of up to 99 years in prison if the victim suffers severe injury or dies. The evidence was overwhelming. The Glock, the blood, his own confession. And worse, he had unknowingly incriminated himself by revealing details only the shooter could have known. If Zara didn't survive, the charge would be upgraded to first-degree murder. Under Texas law, first-degree murder can result in life imprisonment or even the death penalty. Given Larius' history of control, abuse, and manipulation, prosecutors would argue this was premeditated murder, not a crime of passion. Can Larius even defend himself? Sure, he could try to claim that it was a moment of rage, but can a moment of rage justify a bullet straight to the victim's head? The law doesn't take crimes like this lightly, and this time, justice will be served. The story of Zara Hashemi is more than just one tragic case. It reflects a much bigger issue, a harsh lesson that society cannot ignore. Point 1. Not every relationship on social media is perfect. Those are sweet videos, perfect photos, and happy captions can be a carefully crafted illusion. Behind them could be manipulation, control, and warning signs that outsiders never see. If Zara, a strong, independent, and well-known woman, could fall into a toxic relationship, then anyone can. Traditions, shuru, the warning signs of a toxic relationship. Control, if someone constantly needs to know where you are, who you're with, and what you're doing. That's not love, it's possession. If they limit your freedom, isolate you, or refuse to give you personal space, that's not protection, it's control. Emotional manipulation and degradation. Phrases like, "No one will ever love you but me." "You can't do anything right." "You made me angry." This is your fault. Your pain, not love, they are psychological abuse. Losing yourself. If you feel like you're not the same person anymore, if you constantly walk on eggshells, afraid of upsetting them, or if you feel like you have to prove your worth just to keep them happy, stop and think. 3. If you or someone you know is in danger, speak up. Abuse is never the victim's fault. Silence enables violence. If you feel unsafe, seek help immediately. What can you do? Call a domestic violence hotline for professional support. Talk to a trusted friend, family member, or counselor. Document evidence. If you feel at risk, your safety comes first. Zara Hashemi's story ended in tragedy, but it can serve as a warning to prevent others from suffering the same fate. We can't change the past, but we can learn from it so that the future has fewer victims like Zara. If you see something wrong, act. Speak up. Protect yourself. Protect others. I help before it's too late. If Zara's story made you think, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Hit subscribe so you never miss another critical warning story. And most importantly, if you or someone you know is in danger, seek help immediately. Justice may come late, but the truth will never be hidden. Be a part of the change.